Camera's rolling.
Hello, Robert, Michelle. This is Dan Cummings with Cummings Mobility. I'm going to formally introduce you to your new van, Chevy Express all-wheel drive. I want to briefly go over some of the key features with the Braun Vangator II lift that you will be getting. First thing you will notice is that you will have dual split side doors, manual operation. If at first you come up to the door handle, it does not release, hit unlock on your key fob to ensure that the doors are unlocked, and at that point the doors will open. As you open up the second swing door, first thing I want you to notice that we do have a door cutout switch. This cutout switch is eliminating power going to your new lift so that when this door is closed, if someone were to hit an internal button, this is not going to unfold and cause damage to either of your doors. Also next to your door cutout switch is going to be your hand pendant. It's a very, very functional, user-friendly hand pendant. It has key features of deploy, down, stow, and up, bringing it back into the vehicle. What you will notice is that I'm going to go ahead and push the down button. The platform is going to unfold. After it completes that feature, you need to release the toggle, push it again to then get it to the next feature. This is going to be the same all the way deploying this lift and stowing the lift. So now it's going to come down to floor level. This interior roll stop is going to open up so that you could then load onto the platform. Once you get the individual located onto the platform, be sure that none of the wheels, being the front or the rear, are overlaying onto this barrier. In the event that your wheels are overlaying onto this barrier, when we bring it from floor level to the ground, this is going to have to flip up, and if there's obstruction from that being able to come vertical, this platform is not going to descend to the ground. So be sure that you're not going to have any pressure on either your outboard barrier or your inward barrier in the center of the chair to the best of your ability onto the platform. Once that has been completed, go ahead, come back to your hand pendant, go to the same toggle switch to now bring it down to the ground. This lift has an automatic leveling feature on it. So you will notice that the rear end is going to land first, and then the front of the lift is going to level, opening up your barrier. This is to help enable you to encounter and to be able to accommodate any level of grounds that you may come across. At this point, again, you would have them depart off of the ramp, or you'd be bringing them on. One quick feature I also want to point out. When this platform is not at the floor level, you will notice there is a large rubber mat. This is a pressure limit. In the event that this platform is not at floor level and you were to put pressure on this, you are going to get an audible tone. That tone is identifying that this platform is not at floor level, so it is not safe to enter or to exit with a wheelchair. Very simple. Realistically, you shouldn't have to worry about that. So we have shown the deployment being with your hand pendant. Also keep in mind that you do have heart switches actually on the rail. If you come on in here, Shannon, we can show them. Just like with the hand pendant with the up and the down, we have the same up and the down on this. This will operate it the same way as to what we had just done. Bringing it all the way up as I had done previously. I'm now going to take you inside of the vehicle, and I'm going to show you on this tower we have a third access to these controls that we have done from the external of the vehicle. So come on in. And you will notice right here you're going to have a single toggle again.
Steve, bring a flashlight.
Deploy down, up for the stow. Also want to point out that you have right here is that you have a power on and off switch. In the event that you turn this to the off position, this is no longer going to be lit up, and this is going to be non-functional. So for whatever reason you operate one of the other features of the activation of the opening or the closing and it's not activated, come in and make sure you have your switch turned on. Now when it is turned on, just like we had done with the remote to bringing it out or bringing it in, you can do the same with this toggle. Because it's obviously at the ground level, we're going to be bringing it up. Again, you will notice that at each step of the sequence of either bringing it in or out, I'm going to hold this, and if I release it, it's going to stop. So you can continue to hold it until it stops a function that you are asking it to do. Now again, now you can see that roll stop there. Watch again now as I want to bring it back down to the ground, that's going to close up and then come to the ground. So be sure again, don't have any casters or any wheels or feet standing on that as you do so. Something that I'll briefly touch on furthermore is that the Braun Vangator does offer a manual override. Ideally, this is something into which you should never ever have to really access. However, worst case scenario, this is an override. In here you will see we have two toggles. On the bottom it's labeled normal, on the top it's labeled override. In the event that the system were to go haywire, you can push this to the override and at that point do these manually. If you ever encounter that, I'd recommend that you call our 24/7 emergency hotline. Call up one of our 3 locations or our 800 number being 1-800-NEW-LIFT, and you'll always be able to speak to a live individual 24/7. That point, that technician can take you through the manual override procedures, or you can see right here we have the procedures as well. However, just for extra peace of mind, it'd be a lot better to actually speak to a live technician. So I'm going to bring these back to the normal mode, close this back down. What we also have the capability is on the top here, you have a manual override for your actuator to bring this platform up and down. This is a third measure of overriding in the event that the normal hand pennant or one of the other 2 buttons is not activated. You check to make sure that the power is on. You try the manual override, that's not working. You still have an absolute true override being a manual crank. Again, in the event that you were to need to access this, call our 1-800-NEW-LIFT. We can speak to you regarding how to do this, or give us the current location of where we're at and we can get you a local dealer to also assist with this. However, Braun has made every effort possible to ensure that this is going to be NHTSA compliant, but at the same time too being as reliable and as bulletproof as to what our customers have come to expect. We've touched on the lift. Now what we need to touch on is, of course, the wheelchair securements. The wheelchair securements that you're going to see on this particular vehicle cannot get any easier. And what I mean by that is that previously you may have been accustomed to putting 4-point system to what we have still today, but opposed to it being a retractable that I'll show you, you have the manual where you actually had to put the tension on it yourself, either ratchet or center cam. In this case, we have got you the retractables. Retractable is the same concept as your safety belt. You put your safety belt on, it self-adjusts, self-tensions for you. There's no need for you to perform anything else besides clipping the male to the female. In this point, what we have is securements for the wheelchairs, Q-String, QRT Max. What these are is that these are going to clip in and out of your floor using what's called an L-track feature. This L-track feature is, I refer to it as moons. What you have is you have a securement, you have an S-hook, and you have cranks. You will, all 4 of them will have a color-coded red for the release to either disconnect it from the chair or to gain more slack to adjust it accordingly. As you are clipping this into the floor, make sure that as you are doing so, that you keep your hands and fingers off of this anchor. This anchor is going to be able to rise up so that you can perform the sliding click. If your hands are on this, this will not be able to move up and down freely to do what it is that we're trying to do. I'm going to line up the moon on the back, with the L-track on the So put the back in, flush to the floor, slide and click, just as simple as that. All four of these tie downs are 100% identical. All four have the same operation. There is no right, wrong, front, back, left, right, universal. As long as you get clipped into one of the pods, you're as safe as you could possibly be. Once you have these located in their course positions, you can rotate these still when they're anchored in. However, be sure to rotate them with the S-hook and not using your hand on top of the actual retractor. If you do it here, you can create a pinch point. I promise you, you will only do this once, and you will remember, use the hook. So once you bring this out, you're going to pull this out, connect it onto the designated point on the chair, and as you see, it will automatically tension for you. In the event that you want to secure it even further yet, once you place this onto the chair, you can crank it down even tighter yet. Once you arrive at your destination, on the back side, there's this release. This is the only way that you are going to be able to acquire slack to disconnect this from the chair because it's locked. Push this in, that enables you to gain slack to disconnect it. It'll retract right back into itself. Again, all four are 100% identical. Located inside the vehicle, you will see we have all of your operators and owner manuals on the lift, on the vehicle, on everything regarding this particular vehicle and its accessibility. Also, you'll notice here the power inverter manual is in here. And just on a quick side note, your inverter is located directly here behind your driver's seat. What we're going to get back to now is going to be back onto the actual retractables. This may be a little bit new or not. If it's not, great. But what I want to talk on is, I believe all 50 states it's required to wear a seat belt. Even if you have an integrated belt into the harness of the chair itself, that's still not sufficient for what State Patrol and your local authorities are going to look for. So we need to apply a lap belt and a shoulder belt the same as though they were sitting in this seat here. How we do that is we have a Q-string lap belt. This lap belt has the same male and female end. The unique feature about this is that opposed to having another anchoring where it clips into the floor, this is going to have a clip that's going to be anchored right onto this post. You can see this post right here. So you're going to take one of the ends of your lap belt, line it up with the post. Once you get it over the top, pull it, and you'll hear it clip right onto there. Once you hear it clip on, you know it's safe and secure. You can do this while it remains into the ground. I simply picked it up for demonstration purposes. Same as with the right side. We're going to line up this with the post on the retractor. We're going to pull it over. It's going to clip on. Once we have that completed, you are going to bring this up over the individual's lap, and at that point connect the male and the female end to serve as a seat belt. On both of these you have adjustment points. What you need to do is you need to slightly rotate these back to at least a 45 to acquire greater slack. Once you rotate this back and you pull out, you will gain more length. However, once it's being parallel with the strap, it does remain locked. So you must rotate this back. If you get too much slack, grab a hold of the loop, pull it the opposite way, and it will put tension back onto this. So we have them anchored into both the left and the right retractable, and they had clipped onto the retractable on the post. However, we still need to have the individual have a shoulder belt, just like a standard safety belt. So in the middle of the male and female clip, you will find another third post. This post is critical for integration of our shoulder belt. What I do want to point out is that in this case, we are facing forward. The shoulder belt is going to be located on the passenger side. So what you want to do is you want to slightly off-center this post to the opposite side so that that will enable that shoulder belt to truly come over the shoulder and act as a shoulder belt rather than being rotated to the right where it's actually going to dangle free. So what I clearly need to do is I'm going to pull a little bit more out of this left side. At that point, as I connect our shoulder belt, which is located right here, I'm going to take this, and I need more slack. So just like with the lap belt, I release this by rotating it back. At that point, this is the same as the retractor lap belt. You're going to line this up over the top. Once you get lined up, pull and click. That is going to be now the integration of the lap to the shoulder belts. This is just a very quick overview of what we have for the Braun Vangator, the Q-strength securements. In the event, again, you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If we're not immediately available, you'll have all the operators' manuals to research immediately, or again, call the 1-800-NEW-LIFT. At that point, you'll be able to get in touch with a live human being 24/7. Well, we sure do hope that you do enjoy your van. Merry Christmas, and again, God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, enjoy, and have a safe New Year.